Hmm. This. Mhm. Oh, here she is. Just stand by. How's it going?
OMG, hello.
All right, we are live.
We are. Oh, it's you. I don't know why I didn't think it was going to be you. I don't know. I don't know.
You caught me at a unique timing. Like I'm very grateful that you're here, but I'm going through a form of introspection phase right now, and so this is my first time on social media since I came back from my trip, and now I want to help others like yourself really see what we can really dive into with this numerology reading. So first and foremost, I want to say, how are you today?
Um, I think I'm doing pretty well. Then again, I just woke up, so not a whole lot has happened to me this morning quite yet.
We good? All right.
We are
So
good.
I'm glad that you're here. You're doing okay. And you're an hour behind me, I believe. So
Yes.
I guess that's completely understandable. So I thought I was logged in actually. So let me log in and pull up all your PowerPoint information.
All good. I work evenings, so I tend to sleep late into the day because I work evenings.
Okay. So I feel that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So let's see if
Oh, I'm
we
super excited about this. Oh my goodness.
I'm look, we got a lot to get into. And how did you as I'm logging in, let me ask you, how did you find me? Like,
Probably one of my random scrolls on TikTok and one of your videos. I'm like, this dude makes a lot of sense. This makes sense to me. And so then I just started like following you, and I have your book finally. I haven't read it yet, but I have it. It's in the my four walls. I have it. And
um,
so I've just always liked what you've had to talk about.
I'm grateful to hear that. When you read it, let me know your favorite chapter.
Yes,
That
I
that
will.
would definitely like mean so much just to hear what you have to say. Do you don't see my screen yet, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Decoding the yes.
Perfect. All right. Oh no, this is actually not what I wanted. This is the screen I wanted you to see.
Okay.
This is your reading. And I peeped your bio. You said you are a creator, right?
Oh yes. Okay. Okay. Wait. With my TikTok, it's so random because I can't figure out what I want to do. It's like I bounce between like, but I want to be. It's like I want to be an educator because I want my content to actually have like substance to it. I don't want to be one of these. I don't know what half the stuff is on TikTok right now. But like I don't want to necessarily be one of those people. But then I start thinking about, okay, Cecily, what do you know? What information do you know? What do you want to teach people? I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Let's
then
see.
I'm like, okay.
We're gonna see if we could clear some stuff up for you with this, because I can see the confusion just based off of certain things, but we're gonna try to get through this, all right?
Okay, sweet. And
So
eventually I'll switch over to my laptop once it's done updating.
you're fine. I right now it's just we're gonna go over a lot. So
Okay.
I'm sure your laptop will catch up eventually.
Yes. And I wanted to do something. I wanted to find my notebook.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. I'm actually going to give you this recording too.
Oh, yay, that's even better. Okay, sweet. Never mind. I'm back.
Yep.
Back quick.
But you can still take the because writing is what helps solidify the
Oh,
information as well. So I'll give you time to get your notebook.
right, right. Oh. Aha, aha, aha. No, I don't. Oh no, this is used for it. We'll use this one. Just the trust. Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right. So we got a lot to unravel, but we're gonna get through it. We got an hour and some change. We're going to
Yes.
start off with your birthday number, your life path number, your destiny number, soul urge number, personality number, maturity number, personal year number, and karmic life path number. A lot of
Okay.
numbers.
A
All
lot of
right.
numbers. But
Yep.
crazy enough, I like numbers. I prefer numbers over words.
Okay. Well, they in Hebrew, numbers and words, same thing. It all
Oh,
means something. So that's why I needed your middle name. And I thought I had that on the questionnaire, and I apologize for that. But when you submitted your information, it should have been, I gotta add middle name because that's very important. Because just to give you a little insight and little knowledge with numerology and Hebrew, the name is the only thing that the rabbi is not allowed to be a present in because it's essentially your name is influenced by source, by God. So when that voice is spoken into your parent's ear, that's when you come. So all these numbers carry a certain energy and vibration from your date of birth to your name. It all is to make up the genetic blueprint of you. So you look at the stars, if you think of it as coding, this matrix, it's all code. Stars, code, blueprint, binary code, all that. It's making up you. When you incarnate on this planet, your soul goes through this process and says, this is going to be your plan, and this is how you're going to follow it. So if you follow human design, astrology, and numerology, you can decode your life path. And that's what we're here to do today. So we're going to
yeah.
start off with your birthday. You are born January 12th, 1995. I have that 12 highlighted because it is three energy. So your birthday makes up three energy off the bat. Three energy is the energy of the creator, the creative people. Such, I know from the back of my head, I think Kevin Hart is a life path three. Not saying you are a life path three, but you have three energy that's making you up.
Mm-hmm.
So three is they're the natural creators. They create their own reality. They're funny. They are writers. They are comedians. They are actors. They are doing something within the creative arts, making music. Now, let me ask you, are you doing anything along the lines of that right now?
I mean, I played the cello in middle school and high school. I've dabbled in different arts and crafts from making wreaths, making blankets, taking painting classes from time to time. I guess my creative thing for right now, maybe decorating my apartment, my new apartment, maybe, or contemplating if I want to create a video game. That's come across my mind a few times. Um, but I guess I'm not actively doing it, but I have like in the past done different like arts and craft music type things. Yes.
I want you to hold that thought because we're going to get back to what do you feel like you are all over the place with your creative endeavors right now?
Yeah, because I'm like, Ceci, you need like pick something, Like that whole like 1,000 hours, put in 1,000 hours to master something right now, like that whole saying, and yet I can't like, I don't know, I want to do this and I want to do that. Ooh, what about this? Or like, screw that, I'm gonna come over here and do this now. I'm all,
So when you create, how does it make you feel?
How does it make me feel? Mm, it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable, and like I feel like there's no right or wrong to it, and it's a constant learning process when you're a creative person.
Absolutely. You're tapping into that flow state. And that's what you're designed to do with this three energy is to continue to tap into that etheric realm. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Soul, but you remember the part where he's playing the piano and he's tapping into that etheric realm. He's creating, he's in that flow state. When you
Hmm.
are creating, you tap into that flow state. You have to tap into that flow state to follow your divine blueprint. That's what your body or what you came here to do is to create something. But we're going to get
Okay.
back to that thought. We're going to move on from that because you are not a life path three. That is just your birthday number energy. You are a life path one. And you see how we do that. We calculate all the numbers in your name. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
your birthday until we reduce it to a single digit. So January 12th, 1995, you add that all together, that equals 28. But then you reduce that 28 to uh 2 plus 8, you get 10. You reduce that even further to a 1. So
Oh,
therefore,
wow.
you are a life path 1 and you have the sun's energy because one is ruled by the sun. The sun is the center of the solar system, just as the number one symbolizes the center of the individual's power and strength. The sun's energy brings vitality, enthusiasm, and a positive outlook. Do you have a positive outlook on life?
All the time,
I,
all the time. I like I really am one of those people that I try to see like the best in people and the best outcomes in the world. And I can't, I just can't, it like not necessarily like overwhelms me, but I just don't see how people can just like lead their lives in like, it like focusing on like the bad and the negative in the world. I'm like, you will drive yourself crazy. I much rather live in a la la land a little bit of where things are always going my way versus just like, oh my God, this, that, and the third, this, that, and the third. I'm like, you can't control this, that, and the third. Okay. You gotta focus on you and be happy with what you have. But you know, but yes, I do tend to stay. It just makes me feel better. Like who wants to focus on the negative? Ugh. Oh.
uh,
Anyway.
that's positive. That's the positive outlook. Look, that's your rule. Your life path number is ruled by the sun. So you see the light in the darkness.
Hmm.
And you shine, you glowing. I saw that smile light up when I said you're ruled by the sun. This is you being that light in the dark, right?
Yes, I guess that's very
So
true.
so life path ones, they are your natural born leaders. You're meant to be a leader. You're very independent, you take initiative, and you're ambitious. Is that you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like I won't say that I'm constantly taking like business adventures, but I don't know, certain things just like I'm curious about, and I just know I'm just meant to like do something like crazy insane, especially like the first in my family. But I tried the whole college thing, didn't care for the college thing, I didn't care for that. And then like I've tried different business adventures, those didn't necessarily stick, but they were learning experiences, and I'm like, you can't put a price on learning experiences because I'm learning what I like and what I don't like and who I am and stuff like that. So I've always been ambitious and willing to try. I'm willing to try anything once. You'll get me once, but after that, I don't like this.
You know, and not to your fault, but you said bring something up that's very important. You are a life path one, so you're a business, you're a leader. And a lot of leaders take the unbeaten path. They don't stick to the 9 to 5. They don't take the traditional college route. They do their own endeavors. You look at all these successful business owners. Steve Jobs is a life path one, founder of Apple. These people,
Me and Jeff Bezos has the same birthday.
see,
Yeah.
It's it's it's
It's
it's
crazy.
it's what you're meant to do. You are meant to design you are meant to design something, to put something out there that's going to change the world. You are innovative. That's the traits of a life path one. So you are naturally tapping into that energy. I feel that. It's
Oh,
just really getting to that next step. And life path ones, I know you guys, you're very confident with a lot of your work. You can back up what you say. You have this strength to you, this resilience where you're just, I got it. Right? A
hmm.
lot of people don't have that, but life path ones do. Uh,
Yeah.
there are some challenges that come with this because your confidence can come off to some people as overbearing, where your strong desire to lead and be independent can come off as dominant. The
Hmm.
and it can intimidate men, actually. Has that happened?
I won't say it's happened, but I can definitely see how it can happen because even with my current job, a certain situation came up recently and I went to my boss because it was a month in advance before the shit was gonna hit the fan. And I was like, okay, what's the plan? What's happening? What's going on? No one knew nothing. No one had no plan. No one wasn't gonna do anything. And so like in this situation, because I'm at the bottom of the totem pole, and I just learned to like let it go. But even as like even as a business mindset person that I'm realizing that I am, it just irked me because that's a terrible way to run business, like OMG. But it's more like a mental thought for me when I am at a point where I'm ready to start my own business. I know this is how I don't want things done.
And you know, a lot of corporate leadership is they're afraid of their own shadow, where they're not confident within themselves. And this is where shadow work comes into play, where people who are in the leadership positions and they tend to project their own insecurities to others who are know thyself, that are confident with thyself. And it rubs them the wrong way because they're scared of you.
Hmm.
Know? So that's how it can come off. But as long as you know yourself, you're always going to be good. But
Exactly.
um, now your independence can sometimes lead to isolation. You may struggle to ask for help or collaborate with others.
Yep.
Like that is something that you need to work on. It's okay to ask for help, and it actually leads to being a better leader sometimes because I I don't know all the answers, you know. I do research. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to go find it. And if I don't know how to do something, I'm going to ask for help. Like that's something that we all need to do as humans because we are human and we have our flaws and we don't know everything. The
And there's
man
a lot of information because even just like TikTok and learning the few like sifting through TikTok, there's so much information out there nowadays, and it's overwhelming. Oh my god, at times, like holy shit. So I definitely get that. Asking for help.
Yeah, it's okay to ask for help, you know, like and don't think that you got it. Don't think that you know it all because the man or woman who knows everything knows nothing at all. So it's all right. Be human. We are here for this human experience. But guess what? You're meant to be a boss. That's your
Oh,
ideal career path. Like you said it from the jump. You were put on this planet to rule. A life path one, they thrive in careers where they can be their own boss. You are the entrepreneurs, the leaders, the innovators, or in a field or any field that requires any form of innovative innovation. And you said you wanted to create something that would be pretty innovative, and you don't have to share it. But I want you to know to create that. It's
okay.
meant for you to put this pen to paper and get it into action. Start putting pressure on yourself to get what is out of your mind into existence. Now, let me ask you this. Does your mind's eye see this idea already out there?
I think what's hung me up is like I thought about like creating a video game. I thought about like I started like a music company at one point. Um and I just felt like they were so small scale in like the grand scheme of things. Like like if I'm thinking like world changing, I'm like, I don't know. Well, I guess Mario might have been world changing. I guess something like a game like that. And then like music company, I don't know. I just never I limit myself a bit in my head a little bit because I get hung up on like the world changing part because I really want to like make an impact for like me and like my children once I eventually get there one day. So
Don't overthink it. Be
okay.
in a constant flow state. That flow state is where creativity fosters. That's where your higher self communicates with you. And you get in, if you are in this flow state, you are in this meditative state that allows you to communicate with your higher self, who is going to give you the answers and say, do this. Don't overthink anything. Just trust your gut. But
Okay.
you are, you are, I'd say you entered the waiting room, by the way. It's
Yes,
the
that's my
computer.
computer.
Okay, I'll admit that. Hopefully we don't lose anything.
Recording in progress.
All right, there we go. So we left off on knowing that you have to get this idea out there because it is important. Whatever it is you contribute to the collective, it's going to be important. And not to incorporate a lot of astrology into it, as we move into this new age of Aquarius, what is going to be innovative right now and what is going to flourish are the businesses that are helping people obtain knowledge, because that's the energy Aquarius likes to bring. It likes to seek information. So if you're putting something out there that is helping the collective, you're going to be all right. So whatever you put out there, if it helps humanity in some sort of way, it's going to flourish. But you're not supposed to worry about the outcome. You're supposed to just enjoy the process of creating it because you are the creator. I'll let you process that.
I honestly think that's better if you're enjoying. I did not just mark on my couch. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to act like that didn't happen. Um, I do. I enjoying the process. I agree with that because I think that's where the not friction, but the paralysis happens when you're like, but what if it doesn't end up like this? But at the same time, you never know where it's going to end up. You have to hope for the best and go through the steps because you don't know what's going to happen. Just like I just saw some crazy video of like Kai's assistant, how she like randomly just drove out to like Florida or some shit with like $400 and somehow landed the job because she was like it was just this on a whim. She just went for it, and it was just so crazy to me because you never know what's gonna happen.
This is what it means to flow with your intuition. It might not make sense to everyone else on the outside perspective. Did I lose you? Oh man, I think I lost her. We were having a good one. So for those of you all who are joining in, we are in the middle of a numerology reading. Uh, I was getting in my own flow state and we just left. So hopefully she can come back. But if you want your own numerology reading with me, link is in the bio. There are scammers out there. I do not come to you for readings. You can go to my DMs, but I will never approach you. Here she goes. I will never approach you all for a reading. It's all done in my stand store in my bio.
Okay.
What happened?
I really need a new computer. So we're just gonna try it on my iPad.
Yeah, it's all good. All right. So I think we left off with essentially just get your product out there and enjoy the art of creating. That's it. Don't overcomplicate it. It'll be okay. Trust the process. Listen to your gut. That gut instinct is tapped in. All right. So looking at your relationship wise as what you need as a life path one, you need a partner who respects your need for independence and can match your ambition and drive. If you are with somebody who is not goal oriented and they're smothering you with just like, don't get me wrong, it's good to love people and have this attention with them. But if your partner is just they're just it's good to be content, right? But for you,
Mhm.
you need somebody who has that same drive. Like we're gonna get out of this hole and we're gonna get it. If they're
Mhm.
bringing that to the table, it's not going to satisfy you. You're going to overlook them. Women who are life path ones, they have a man who is either on their level, if not better.
Mhm.
So they're usually not the ones who are going to go for no scrub.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness, it's so true.
And look,
Oh,
that's all. I
crazy.
don't want no scrubs.
Yep.
That is you guys. That is life
Yep.
path one women. That is you to a T. So, however, when it comes to relationships, life path ones have to work on being more accommodating and open to their partner's viewpoints. Because remember that stubbornness tends to play out where we're like, ah, yeah, I know the way and this, but
Mhm.
everybody has their own ideas. Remember, it's about being a good leader, and being a good leader requires taking in information. Because remember, we have two ears and one mouth, right? And we have two eyes and one mouth. So we're
Mhm.
supposed to use these senses more as opposed to our own mouth at times. So it's good to reflect and listen to others' perspectives. Now, you need to, we already kind of covered that, just kind of hitting it on the head again, but just collaborating with others and focus on listening to others' perspectives. So this kind of hits on the last one, but that's very big. Now, moving on to the tarot card that represents the life path one, you are the magician, where it is associated with manifestation, resourcefulness, the power to turn your visions into reality. You are the creator and you must co-create with the creator. You have this vision, and remember what we said in the beginning of our conversation. It is up to you to turn that vision into your ultimate reality. And I believe you will. You just
Thank
got to get through
you.
this cycle that we're about to address.
Yes.
But
That's
yes, 1111 is your number. It's double one energy. So that's why we manifest on 1111, or people make a wish, because it is essentially turning your dreams into reality. So what I really want you to do tonight after this conversation is really to come up with a plan to get this, whatever idea is the strongest in your head, out there into the ether. Like whether you got to start writing it, writing your steps out, that is the most important thing you can do right now, is to where's my I have my path to success is in this red notebook. I went, some source told me to go to CVS and get this red notebook. And I tell myself in the beginning of it, I said, I am blessed and highly favored. And how do you eat an elephant? One chunk at a time.
yes.
I'm feeling overwhelmed. I write. So all of my thoughts, they're written down where I'm like, okay, first I need to do this. First I need to do this. Because writing really helps you have a visual step to accomplishing your goal. We can all manifest, but it's all about having the actual steps to align to that manifestation. Like some people get lucky and they have that manifestation in their head and they stumble across money. I did that where I manifested $20,000, but I didn't truly know manifestation. Now I know how to manifest and how to go about it. But the most important tip is writing down your steps. And I want everybody to be successful. You have this idea and I want you to get it out there. So you need to really write down this idea and these steps to obtain that idea. You are the magician, therefore you can manifest your own reality. Now, compatible numbers. You are life path ones compatible with 3, 5, and 7 because these numbers complement the drive for innovation and leadership. So if you do encounter your partner and they are a life path 3, 5, or 7, you guys will most likely hit it off. And you might be stubborn in your own ways, but you have someone who's intuitive with the 7. With the 5, you have someone who's adaptive to change. So if you have a new idea here and there, he's willing to be ride or die. Then 3, you have somebody who's willing to create with you. So either one of those numbers is very compatible with you.
Sweet.
So moving on to your destiny/expression number. This reveals your natural talents, abilities, and potential, and it's calculated using your full birth name. Remember how earlier we said the rabbi, it's very important for a rabbi not to be influence your mom and dad's decision, or just your mom and your name is it's written by design, and it tells a lot about your path because it's from source, it's guided by source. So the chart's not popping up here, but when we calculate all the numbers of your name, from your first, middle, and last name, and once again, I apologize for not having the middle name as an option. I will fix that. But when we calculate that, all the numbers in your name, it comes to 7. And 7 is a very intuitive number. It represents analytical, introspective, and spiritual insight. These are the philosophers, the scholars, and the truth seekers. You excel in research, analysis, and spiritual or intellectual pursuits. Now, if you came across my content, that's probably why. It's the inner philosopher within you that is seeking this spiritual knowledge. You signed up for a numerology reading, meaning you are seeking more. You are aligning to this 7 expression number, you know? These are your natural talents. You are naturally an intuitive person. You're very open to different intellectual concepts. These are often the philosophers, and they like sharing their insights with others. Now, you might be drawn to careers in teaching, writing, science, philosophy, or any field that allows them to express or communicate complex ideas. So let's say a video game, you put out a very complex video game or something that is very complex, and it challenges individuals to use their mind, to not question what they're being told. That's what this soul urge number of 7 really puts out there. Is anything resonating with you with that?
Like seeking the truth. Yes, because you and I have the same favorite movie. I love The Matrix. The Matrix is fucking awesome. And so um I've always just never really accepted what was told to me because there's way too much we don't know. There's no way. There's no way. There's way too much we don't know. But I guess like a little bit with like the researching part is kind of like a little contradicting a little bit because I remember when I had to do like research papers and stuff. I hated doing that. Oh my god, I hated doing because it's getting to a point where it's so hard to decipher like what information is actually like true and what information is like hogwash. And I know a bit of that is just like like what resonates with me, what doesn't resonate with me, and stuff like that. But I've never really cared for like researching per se. I don't know. I don't know because it overwhelms me after a while with like with everything.
That's living out of alignment because you have this quest for knowledge and truth. And to eliminate the research, do like you hit the nail on the head. Do what resonates internally. Like listen to what you are feeling in your core. If you feel it in here, then that's what you should explore even more. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're not feeling it, I know I'm either going to feel it in my core or I'm going to feel it up here. I'll get this like tingle up here if something's truly resonating with someone that they're saying. I know that source
So
guiding
like giving you
me.
the approval, you're like, yes,
Yeah,
continue.
it's confirming. So if you're not feeling that, you don't need to waste your time, you know?
Okay.
So, and you touched on the Matrix, and not to go too far off on a tangent. And the Matrix is about getting out of this false illusionary reality. And there's a lot of distractions within this Matrix that keep us prison. You haven't read my book yet, but I do talk about past lives. But one of the lives I didn't mention was my life as a Cathar, which is an extension of the Gnostics after they were persecuted. And the Matrix and Gnostic beliefs kind of parallel. They don't parallel, they are the same thing, where it's just like escaping this illusionary world, because the Gnostics believe that our energy is being harnessed by these archons, and the Matrix is the thought of these machines are harnessing our energy. And you go into the writer of the Matrix, she talks about how the Terminator is essentially the Matrix is the future and the Terminator is the past, or something vice versa. John Connor's Jesus Christ. We're not going to get into that, but definitely a unique rabbit hole. But that's why
Yeah.
we have the same similar beliefs, because we are truth seekers. We love knowledge, spiritual truths at that. So uh moving on to your soul urge number, it reflects your inner desire and motivations and emotional needs. It's calculated using only the vowels of your birth name.
Okay.
So, hey, here's the chart that didn't pop up at first. So you could get a visual of how the alphabets are calculated within your name. You see how the vowels have, like, every number has its own its own value. So
Oh,
look,
yeah, because they don't line up in the same number.
right,
Okay. Yeah.
right, because if you read Hebrew, you're reading it from right to left.
Hmm.
And for my sports players out there, like, this is how you can get really good at sports betting. If you learn gematria, you learn the numerical value of sports players' names, you learn how who has a higher statistical advantage. Pay attention to the current patterns that are going on in the world, and you could really run the card. I used to be really good at this, but I'm not ruled by money like that. But this is how you can really get good by sports betting, is learning Hebrew and gematria and numerology and astrology. So not moving on, not to get too far off on a tangent. I get caught up in these sometimes. But
Yes. Good.
when you gather the numbers in your name, you get 23. When you reduce that, that is 5. And remember, 5. This is the number of change. These people, their personality traits are adventurous, this restlessness, this freedom loving, dynamic, and you're adaptable and you're curious and open minded. I know
Yeah.
that you felt that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's having that 5 energy within you, where you just I'm willing to I'm willing to do this now. I'm willing to do that. Like, I can get up and go. I will literally A 5 life path will literally quit their job and move to out of country with no problem.
I
Yeah.
want something new. I'm over it. Bye.
And it's no hesitation. They'll do it.
Hmm. Oh,
That's
yeah,
all.
I did something a bit very immature recently, and I realized that, but I caught it a little too late. I've been like, okay, I need to find like some type of passive income. I need like a passive income so I can like offset working my 3 to 11, because I don't want to do this forever, right? And so I stumbled across like this penny stock course, right? I'm like, oh, penny stock, that doesn't seem too bad. It doesn't stocks to be something that be good to get into, because it's something that you can learn over time, and it's long term stuff that it like builds up over time. It sounds like a great idea. And so I logged into the Zoom, and the dude's picture, that was the first thing that caught me. It was like, it was a really odd picture to choose, but it was like 2 eyes and they were red, and it kind of like was odd to me, but I still went through it. And I was like, something was telling me, I'm like, this isn't going to be for you, Cecily. Like, I don't know what it is, but it is not going to be for you. But I already, like, so I was like, yeah, I'll pay the money. I'll pay the $1,000. It's cool. It's fine. I'll go through it. And then the next day, I'm just getting message after message after message, because I forgot with like penny stocks, you have to be like, it's a very on demand 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning when the stocks open up and stuff, and you got to be like on top of it, and I'm like, damn, I really don't care about this because I'm not like one of those people that are up with the birds. I'm not one of those people. I don't like being up with the birds, and just the demand and like the attention needed for that stuff. I'm like, damn. Oh well, learned that lesson.
Hey, but that's you. You're willing to spend the money to learn, and that's going back to that seven energy, actually. So you. It'll take you far. You're gonna eventually pick up something where like it works.
It worked.
This is this is what I'm gonna do. No, that's keep that energy. Like you're willing to learn, and that's what we're here to do is to learn.
Exactly. Yep.
Here.
And
And
I
it,
did also to help myself not be so upset, like, oh my God, I spent like that money and I could have bought XYZ and whatnot. But then I told myself, I'm like, Cecily, you're learning stuff about yourself and you can't put a price on like learning things about yourself. So,
no, because the whole purpose of this journey, and I learned this, got the same download again, but is to know thyself. That's it. That's
mhm.
don't need. I was told you don't need to astral project. You don't need to go out anywhere else but inside yourself because once you master yourself, you master the universe. And it was very emotional to hear that, but it was the true thing that I needed to hear because I felt like the collective needed to hear. Hence why my last video, I'm very emotional sharing that message. It was from source or the higher self. And I know that we all need to know that we are enough and we need
Mhm.
to learn ourselves and we don't have to prove anything to anyone else. So know thyself.
Yes.
So we we're still on 5.
Five.
You look at the strengths of this. You have the ability to adapt to any new situation and learn quickly. You're very versatile. Uh, you're very your enthusiasm and the zest for life is infectious. You inspire others around you. Remember, I said your smile, it lit up. Like it, I said, you're the sun, that energy.
Yes. Because my mom's the same way. My mom, she told me that she would just sit out in the sun when she was younger. And I find myself doing that too. I love having the windows down and just like when there's a nice day outside and like I have the windows down and I'm blaring and I'm blasting music and I'm looking like I'm driving past cars and everyone has their windows up. That is so weird to me. I'm like, it is such a nice day. Oh my God. Anyway.
I'm one of those people that likes to ride down with the AC and the windows down. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And once again, innovation is a common theme with you. Like, and you have these ideas, they have to get out of you because
Okay.
you're often the creative thinker coming up with innovative ideas and solutions. That's the energy you are bringing to this table. Did I keep the same slide? Oh, no. No, your challenges. Yes, the commitment issues. We commitment because you have this idea for freedom, which can lead to difficulty for committing to something long term, whether it be a relationship or a job.
Oh
That is
yeah.
going to be
Yep.
a challenge. Like, so you have to master that. And
Okay.
you might struggle with restlessness and a constant need for change, what can make it hard for you to find satisfaction within your routine. And to be honest with you, true peace comes from stillness, mastering where you are right now, being grateful for where you are right now, because when you are expressing gratitude for your current situation and where you are, that's how you get to the next destination. That's how manifestation fosters. It's through gratitude, being grateful for your current position. And it could be terrible, like terrible schedule, but guess what? You still have your mom, you still have your family, you still have air in your lungs, you still have the people important to you that are worth more than money. Because
Exactly.
when you get to the top of that ladder where you want to be, some of those people aren't going to be around. They either pass away or life happens and you go different
Hmm.
directions. So that's why yes, it's part of the journey. If they are along your journey and they're here with you, enjoy that. It
Mm-hmm.
might not be where you want to go, but just really enjoy the where they are in your life right now, because all things come to an end. People come in and out of your life like seasons. So enjoy the season that you're in. Now, remember, this 5 brings this energy of impulsiveness where you can make impulsive decisions without fully considering.
Thinking about it.
But I have to say, because you do have the 7 energy, which is very intuitive. And if you have to know the difference between your ego and intuition, because they can kind of sound like they're the same thing, but they're really not. Because your
Mm-hmm.
intuition is what speaks to you in a very calm manner. And your ego is very like, go, go, impulsive, now, 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 let's do it. But sometimes your intuition can move you in a way of a very calm manner that doesn't make sense, where you know you're following your intuition, where you're walking down this path and the path is unfolding in front of you as you go. Like it's you're stepping off the unbeaten path with your intuition, and it might not make sense to everyone else. Like some people get up and go and they move to a different country and they have no plan. They just go with the flow. And they end up stumbling into something great because their intuition led them. As opposed to someone who's like, I want to quit my job now. I don't have no plan B. I just want to quit. I hate it there. That's ego.
Mm-hmm.
You end up sabotaging yourself. But your intuition is just going to guide you. It's going to tell you to do this. It's going to give you a little piece of the puzzle. And it is up to you to follow that piece because, like I said, it's the path unfolding in front of you. So, with this 5 energy, you have to manage that balance of knowing the ego and the intuition. So, now we have the personality number. This number describes how you present yourself to the world and how others perceive you. It's calculating using the continents in your full birth name. So as you see in your name, we have CSL, CL, CLLTT, your last name, GRRTT. That all equals 56. So come adding that together, that equals 11. But we haven't got to a master number yet. 11 is a master number where there's no need to reduce. So what's amazing about 11, it's a spiritual number.
Ooh.
11, 22, and 33 are the master numbers. 33 is 22 is the master builder, where you look at, who is it? George Washington was born on the 22nd, founding father. And I quote that because, yeah,
Yeah.
his
This.
father technically built America, but yes, 22 are the builders.
Okay.
33 are the master teachers. I'm a life path 33, where we have the energy of 2 3s, which is creating this intellectual writing, showing the knowledge through video, script, however you can, just teaching. So, but 11, they're very sensitive and they're very empathic. They can feel the energy of the room. That's the 11 energy. There's a lot of charisma with you all. You're very inspiring and visionary. So do you see how a lot of these themes are just very, like, the numbers are really making you up, and there's some
Yeah.
patterns with these numbers, such as you're innovative, you're charismatic,
Mm-hmm.
very intuitive, and you seek this knowledge. That's what this 11 energy brings. So that is your personality number. So believe it or not, you come off as someone who is very intuitive and you have a lot of spiritual insight and a lot of charisma. So people see that in you. I saw that from the jump when I said that sun, you're shining.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yay. I love this. This is great.
Yeah. So now your maturity number. This number indicates the person you will become later in life, and it is calculated using your life path number and your expression number. Do you remember your life path number?
1.
Yes. All right. So your life path number is 1 and your expression number is 7. This indicates a time of achievement, success, and material abundance. So your maturity number is 8, because 8 is the number of abundance. That's the energy that 8 brings. A lot of financial success, actually.
You want to hear something crazy? I have two. I don't know. I don't know who told me this. It might have been my best friend. I don't remember. But I have two very distinctive M's on the palms of both of my hands. And ever since then, she's like, that means like you're worth like not millions. She told me like either money or millions or something like that. And ever since then, I'm like, dude, it's meant to be.
I
Anyway,
look I looked at this I looked at your numbers and said, yeah, this is definitely meant to be. But remember, money doesn't all abundance doesn't always come in the form of money. It comes in the form of love as well. So
yes,
that in perspective too. So you might be rich in abundance in other things, but
yes,
8 does carry that energy of usually having successful people. And honestly, I think 8 people that are life path 8s are great leaders, and they know how to go about things in a very methodical way. So when you mature, when you come into what it is you're supposed to come into, you have made it to a point in your life where you took charge of your life and you realized your ambitions. So maybe this is the start, this one, like you start off in this cycle of one and you build something, you nurture it, you build that foundation, and then you go from there. So your personal growth is to strive to balance the ambition with compassion and understanding for others. And you're supposed to develop a healthy work-life balance in finding time for personal relationships and self-care. It's crucial. So when you get to this later stage in your life, remember, time is more important. Connect with the people who are most important with you. Yes, that is definitely a message that a lot of people need to hear. Just don't don't keep feeding the system. Feed yourself, feed your soul. Take care of your soul. Do the things that feed your soul and not the flesh. Remember, money feeds the flesh.
money feeds the flesh.
Connections and interaction with fellow humans is what feeds the soul. Helping other humans is what feeds the soul. Doing the things that make you feel good in the heart feeds the soul. So self-care is very important. So take care of thy soul. Now, personal year number is one of my favorite things. Remember how I told you I was really good at sports betting? It was
Oh
because of
yeah,
knowing personal year numbers of fantasy football. Like I knew when certain players will get injured based off of their personal year number. And I used that to my advantage. Like, oh, I'm not going to draft Christian McCaffrey because he's in this year and he's most likely going to get injured.
it's on bust his ankle.
Yeah, right. So I took that and I became really good at fantasy football. But your personal year number gives insight into themes and opportunities you're likely to encounter during a specific year. Uh, this concept of the life cycle often is referred to as epicycles. These are patterns that are influenced that shape our life throughout time. So let's find out yours. Remember, I said we're going to come back to that 3, right?
Yes.
Remember that energy of 3 where it feels like you're bombarded with all these ideas? Well, guess what? You first take your universal year number, which is the number of 8, abundance. And now you add that month to you add your month of birth and the day of birth to universal year, and that gets you 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 8. That gets you 3. That gets reduced down to 3. So your personal year number is 3. So right now, in this year of abundance, you are being bombarded with a lot of energy to create. And that's why I said it's meant for you to act on that, especially within this year, because it's
Okay.
foster into something. Your next cycle is a foundation year of 4, where you are 4, you
Oh, it
think
is 2023, or is it 2024?
2024.
Okay.
So, but the cycle that applies to you right now is you are in this creation. I'm in a creative year as well, where that's why a lot of my content has shifted to doing a lot of skits, and showing my knowledge through skits and other ways and creating master classes and doing all this other stuff. I'm creating stuff. But our next cycle is 4, where we take all the stuff that we built in this cycle and we build the foundation up from there. So that's why I said I'm coming back to this, because the overall thing is to really get you to tap into this creative energy. And it's going to be exhausting because I get a lot of ideas. I'm like, I don't want to act on it. I don't, I just scrap it because it's overwhelming, and it's okay. That's why it's important to write out the ideas and see which one sticks. And the ones that stick, you continue to follow them. You continue to follow through with them and see where they lead you. So definitely start writing out your ideas. And
Or I did. I'm pretty sure I have like a sticky note on my phone of like ideas, more than likely. But yeah, I've always like I try to write. Yeah, I need to get better at that because I've definitely started the habit and then stopped it. Started the habit of it and started it.
so yes, you and me are both in these cycles, and this is it's a yin and yang, because it's like your year 1, you're going to have a lot of energy. It's the initiation. It's you planting the seed to something. That's a year 1 cycle. And these cycles last for a few years. Some say 9 years, so to say. So in your 1 year cycle, think of it as you being a tree. You planted this seed, and then 2, it starts growing as you're starting to nurture it. It's balancing out. Now it's more of an introspection, and you don't have as much energy. And then in your 3 year, you have a lot of energy and you're ready to go, 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 create. And then you go into your year 4, and then you're back to being chill, you're back to chilling. But then guess what? You follow up by a 5, which is like, oh, I want adventure, I want to change, I want to do something. And then you go back to chilling, because you go into a 6 year cycle, which is most likely the time where people start families. Something in their life happens where they want to be a nurturer. A lot of life path 6 men are very nurturing men. So just a little tip for you people out there. But then you get into the year 7, which is more hermit and introspection, and you want to dive into yourself and really seek and get to know thyself. Because next year, the following year after that, you enter a 8 year cycle, which is about yourself, your worth. This is when people are like, you know what? They walk into their job and be like, pay me what I deserve. I deserve this. I know my worth. Pay up.
I'm
And
doing the job of 3 people.
and if they don't, guess what? They end up leaving. They know their worth. And they follow that up by a 9 year cycle, which is completion. So yeah, so you are in a year 3 cycle, which means you are meant to create and continue to create, because
That's
that
the
is,
thing. I did kind of like set a goal of writing a book, but it's a fiction book. Is that like pretend fantasy, not real fiction, right?
yeah, and you never know where it leads to. When I wrote my book, to be honest with you, I had a really transcendental moment where I received the same information I received recently, and I just started writing, and it led to a book. I was just being guided by source. It was just get out there and write. And that's why I told you in the very beginning, just write. If your plan, or if it is a book, just start writing out that book, and you never know, before you know it, you have 4 chapters done. You're like, oh, well, I want to do
Yeah,
this
this is
chapter.
easy.
Yeah, you get into that flow state because you are the creator in this year 3 cycle. My book came at the start of my year 3 cycle. So you and me are in the year 3 cycle. So it's meant for us to continue to create. So definitely go ahead and start creating. Uh,
Okay.
so, like I said, this kind of touches on what I just said, but it's you regain your social life and energy. You become more creative. Universe is going to give you a lot of downloads. That's why this feels so overwhelming. You're going to have no focus and scatterbrain. So we kind of really just hit the nail on the head with this, because this is the cycle you're in. We you're gonna get these project ideas, and a lot of them are going to be scrapped. But guess what? That's the beauty of creation. What makes the beauty of creation is the artist, the one who is creating, because even though they're scrapping all these ideas, eventually one of them sticks and it becomes a masterpiece. And that's why
Even
you
the guy that made the light bulb, it took him like 1,000 tries. He was scrapping a bunch of stuff until he got one that worked.
eventually one of them stick.
Yep.
So let me see. So
And who
that
would have thought to use horsehair? Like, what the fuck?
right. And I this is the innovation that comes with it. So continue to create. And I have this slide as a reminder with the paint. You are the creator. We are all meant to co-create with the creator because we are made in the creator's image. We have this energy flowing through us, so therefore we must create our own reality. But now let's look at karmic life path numbers. I don't know why my image isn't popping up, but a karmic life path number suggests that certain challenges or lessons from our past lives are carried over into our current life. So let's look into the meaning of some of them. So if the single digit number is a 13, 14, 16, or 19, it's considered a karmic debt number. Each karmic debt number carries its own significance. So you look at the karmic debt number of 13. This indicates a person needs to work through laziness and procrastination. The individual may focus on obstacles until they learn to take initiative and responsibility for their actions. So when you look at karmic debt number 13, when you do numerology and add those numbers together, that's 4. Remember what I said? 4 is the hard worker. So that means that person is living out of line with their true self. So that's why they came back to this incarnation
Oh, okay.
to learn this lesson. So they have this karmic debt number of 13. And then you move on to debt number 14. This suggests challenges related to the adaptability to change. It's about learning to go with the flow and avoid being too rigid. Because in your last life, that's what you were doing. That's why you came back in this lifetime as a life path 5 to get the lesson. The universe is going to keep reminding you of these lessons that you must overcome. It's written in the stars, it's written in your date of birth. All these lessons are written in your genetic code. Hence why we like the matrix, the binary code that's falling. It makes us up. It's our DNA. It's our cosmic DNA. So knowing your cosmic blueprint is the key to knowing thyself. Now we move on to karmic debt number 16. And this points issues with ego, pride. The individual might struggle with arrogance or a sense of superiority, needing to learn humility and cooperation. Now remember, set like 1 plus 6 is 7. So this is someone who incarnated as a life path 7 who is not living aligned to his life path number. So someone who is a life path 7, they tend to know thyself, that introspection. Those who know thyself don't need to go out and brag and gloat or do all this different stuff, you know? So this is someone who's living out of sync with his true self. And last but not least, we have a karmic debt number of 19, which all in all is a life path 1 like yourself. It is someone who is, there's a need to balance out independence with cooperation. It suggests that the individual may have been overly self-centered or selfish in a past life, and now they need to learn to value teamwork and serving others. So that is usually a life path 1. However, you have no debt
No.
because yours came out to 10, remember, in the beginning, which means 1. So that is really it, because 999 means completion. But I want to leave you with this. I want to ask you a few questions. This is completely unrelated to numerology, but I
Okay.
like ending it with this sometimes. So I want you to pick a few I'm going to name a few items. I don't know if you heard of this before, but if you have, you're going to name a few items, and I want you to be as descriptive as possible. Like, use your imagination, let it run wild. Because it's going to tell, these items are going to describe a lot about yourself. All
Okay.
right. So the first item, I
No
want,
pressure.
oh, no pressure at all. You don't got to try to trick me. It's from your subconscious mind. So
Okay.
you're going to tell on yourself. So the first item I want you to describe is a desert. Describe the first thing that comes to mind with your desert. What's it look like from the sand? What's in your desert?
Uh, it's like the mummy sand in the movies The Mummy. I have this place I go to sometimes in my head where in order to enter this realm, I have to walk through a desert. And when I first came across this place, it was like, you know how in Egyptian time when they did funerals, they would walk with a coffin and they would have treasures and stuff in like a parade and they would walk to their pyramid. I saw this so vividly in this particular meditation. And so it ended up being my daughter who passed, and we took her to her tomb, and then we came back. But that's what I would think about. Anything when you say desert, that's I immediately think about that meditation I had.
I was going to say, I felt like you were tapping into past life there anyway. So describing this desert, you say it's very barren. There's sand, a lot of sand.
Hmm.
Is
Yes,
there,
a lot of sand, very barren.
is,
And we were walking a good amount of time before we got to the pyramid, and then we came back, and then like the city came, right? The city came, was offering me stuff to help with my grievances and whatnot. And the city still supported me and still loved me, even though like my husband had died in like a war, and then my daughter had just died from illness. Even though it was literally just me now, they were still very they were still willing to be behind me, willing to allow me to rule.
okay. So your desert has a lot of sand and some pyramids here and there.
Hmm.
Okay. So the next item I want you to describe is a cube. How big is it? What kind of cube is it? What color is it?
It's a very large cube, probably 3 stories high, and it's silver and reflective. Almost, it seems like it would be translucent. You would think you would be able to put your hand through it, but it's actually solid.
Ah, okay. Now, I want you to think of a ladder. All right. How big is this ladder and where is this ladder in reference to your cube?
It's out of the top. It's out of the top of the cube, and it just goes up. At first, it seemed like it was. At first, it like went through clouds, but the more that I think about it, it just keeps going, just higher and higher and higher,
So it's
like
on top of the
infinite.
cube, on top, standing directly on top of the cube.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, the next item I want you, oh, what is it a metal ladder or is it a wooden ladder?
First thought says wooden.
Okay, that's fine. Now, the next item I want you to describe is a horse and how far is it from your cube?
It's like a Pegasus horse, and it's flying around.
Ah, okay. So it's nowhere near your cube.
Yeah, it kind of like pops in and out like a like I don't want to say a fly. That's so bad. But
Oh,
that's kind of how like I'm seeing it. It's like there, and it's yeah, it's just minding its own business. It's like it's kind of like there if I need it. That's kind of how like I can call upon it. It's nearby.
okay. So now the last item I want you to describe is a storm in this desert. What type of storm is it and how far is this storm away from your cube and your ladder?
And when I think of it, this one's a ways away, and it's an electric storm. It's very like although it's like far away, I can see like the electricity like shooting. shooting out of it. I can tell it's a very powerful storm because even though it's a distance away, I can still feel like the energy and the shock waves where I'm at.
Okay. So you're ready for the reveal of what all this means.
I don't think so.
All right. So your desert, what do you think that means?
I don't know. Well, you told me it was a past life, so I'm hope like
No, no, no. That the past life has nothing to do with it, although it did subconsciously come up. But regarding to you and your personality, what do you think the desert represents?
um I can be a loner at times.
Hmm. So the desert represents what's going on in your life. Okay. So I know
Mm-hmm.
completely off from what you were thinking, but you said a barren desert, right?
Mm-hmm.
So meaning you're pretty stable for the most part, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there were pyramids, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are things that indicates there are things in your life that are lingering that haven't fully gone away, but they're around. But for the most part, you are stable. Now your cube. What do you think your cube represents?
Oh no. But that's a cool cube. I can say that much. It's a cool one. Because
That
it's like you can't help but want to like touch it. It's almost like full of like you're gonna get like some intellectual like download. It's so intriguing. It's interesting. It's like shifting almost. It's interesting.
funny you say that because the cube describes you.
Oh,
That's how you see yourself. And what's even more interesting, you said it's magical, spiritual, and that's essentially what we uncovered within your reading, like your numerology reading. You are very magical, intellectual, and you see yourself as big. Like you that's you. That's your personality. It lights up a room. It's big. And then you said it was translucent, like reflective. So it's like people they think they know you, but they don't know you. Like they you let them in, but they don't really get that true depth to you, you know?
gosh. Yeah.
So your ladder, what do you think that represents?
My connection to source.
Your ladder represents family.
Mm.
You have a strong ladder, but it's standing on you, which indicates you're either supporting them or they're supporting you, or some way you are supporting your family. Like that's
Yeah.
straight up going into the air on top of you. So
Hmm.
sturdy family, but they lean a lot on you.
Yep. Very true.
So yeah. Now, what do you think this Pegasus represents?
Okay, wait. We talked about me. We talked about my family. What else? Is that one spirit?
That is actually your relationship. And you described it as someone who's in and out of your life. You're like a fly. They come in and out. It means you like your space, honestly. You don't like someone smothering you. You like them to give you attention. You like them to come by, family and friends and all that around, but you like them gone at times too. You like them here and there. And you like
Yeah,
mythological beings.
I
So it's
do.
almost like saying you like guys who are there but not there mentally. Like
Mm,
they're there and then they're gone when they hit you up when they need to. And bye. Like that's they're pretty because Pegasus, mythological creatures, wings, they're in and out. Now the storm, what do you think that represents?
I don't know. I've been wrong. I'm not gonna guess anymore.
I think you'd be wrong if you were to guess the storm.
Storm, maybe like mental battles, like mental toughness.
Yeah, you're not far off. It's self-explanatory. It's the storms in your life, like how you weather storms. So you say your storm is in the distance, you can feel it coming, but it's not on top of you.
Hmm.
It's over there, but you can feel its energy. So that means there's something brewing in your life that's over in the distance that's approaching, but you have time to calculate your maneuvers and weather the storm. So yeah, like that's how I like to tie this whole thing up to complete the whole thing. But it's
I
been a
like that.
talking to you, and this has been an amazing reading. I'm gonna try to send this in a Google document or somewhere where you can. I think Zoom allows me to share this link with you.
I know I have one question. I swear I had two, but I definitely have one. You briefly spoke on you use video games as a form of meditation.
Yes.
How do you do that? How do you do that?
So when I am, you think of meditation as it's doing something that keeps you in the present moment, locked in, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if I'm playing Call of Duty, I am locked in because I'm focused, like I'm going in for the kill. I'm maneuvering in and I'm out. I'm
Mm-hmm.
in this flow state. And when I'm in this flow state, I have a high kill death, I have a high kill death ratio where I'm just going back and forth. But like that's how I connect. Or if I'm playing Madden, where Madden has this wonderful thing called X Factor, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
X Factor it is when your player is in his flow state. But guess what? You put him in that flow state because that means you're just killing it in a game.
Mm-hmm.
Which is playing video games for me allows my mind to decompress and it allows my mind to just relax. And that is what meditation is emptying the mind. So I meditate in a few different ways from hiking, which puts me in a flow state and it gets to allow me to empty my thoughts, playing video games, or sometimes just simple meditating with binaural beats, such as what I did at the Monroe Institute, where we just you listen to these frequencies, sync the left and right hemisphere of your brain, and sink into these different realms of consciousness. And then you're super relaxed. You enter into these places. But I'd say video games is one of my favorite ways to meditate. Like a lot of people come home from work and they play video games. Like my son, I can't get mad at him because he makes good grades and he plays video games. And it's like the kid in me who's like, I played outside and I did this. I had this childhood. We played with each other versus now these kids just play a lot of video games and it's like I can't get too mad at him because it is his form of meditation. Like he has high functioning autism like me, so I get that he needs this decompression. So
Mm-hmm.
video games is that outlet. So is video game do you play video games, so is that you don't find that a form of relaxing?
Uh, what I've been coming across, what I've been noticing lately, is the video games I've been playing. I play for my friends to it's yeah, I play for my friends, not necessarily like for me. And then then I started thinking, okay, what games would you play for you then? That makes me think of games like I played Sly Cooper growing up. I played a lot of Sims growing up, but since it's changed a lot. I've stuff like this game called Thrillville, where you ran an amusement park. That was those types of games, and so it got me thinking. I'm like, that's probably what I need to do. I need to go back to playing games in my childhood from my childhood. That probably is like the missing piece. And so that's one thing with like my streaming. That's one thing that I do want to make sure I'm able to do is stream older games. I think that's the piece that I'm missing.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then you got another question, right?
Yes. Okay. I think I figured it out. So I consider myself a like spiritual, borderline witchy at times. And what's been kind of like the disconnect for me is someone told me being spiritual and then being religious are two different things. And the thing with like religion, I don't say I grew up Christian, but my family is heavy Christians. And it just never, I didn't like how, for me, I view Christianity as like very like cookie cutter, very like subdivision copies in a way. And so I'm like, I don't see how you can be like both, or like the distinguishation. I hope I'm making English.
No, you're making perfect sense because remember how I told you where you have this soul urge number of what was it? You had 7 in you,
Soul urge number is 5.
5. Well, hold on. There was something that relates to you with the you're not you're not gonna it was your what was it? Your destiny expression number, right? Your natural talents. So you're naturally somebody who goes deeper with truth and seeks that knowledge and truth. Where religion, for example, you kind of see through it, honestly. And it's nothing wrong with that because that's what we're meant to do is not just sit there and be obedient and not question things because it shows a form of genius to question. So the
Mm-hmm.
fact that you question religion shows that you are already seeing beyond man's limited perception, because that's all religion is, and not knocking anyone religion who's religious. But man's senses are limited, and we describe source as this clear cookie cutter, this is what it is. But from my own research, from my own experiences, from my near-death experiences, the transcendental moments I've had, and the many people I've interviewed who had transcendental near-death experiences, I've noticed, and this is the next video that I've been working on, and a recent download that I had on the Monroe Institute when I went there was I asked the universe to see source, God, whatever, the most high. And I went up this spiral staircase and there was a opening, which was at the top, it was nothing but light. That was source. And in the higher self, which is what we would call an archangel, what religion would call an archangel, said, no, you're not meant to see that yet. You are meant to master thyself and master all your incarnations and gather that to lead to becoming your highest self or this archangel. So it's like I saw how time was stacked on top of each other. There's no such thing as past lives, it's lives happening simultaneously
Simultaneously. Yep.
all at once. So I was standing at these different locations and I saw it was overwhelming, but it's like you have different realities of this happening. There was a reality where I was with this person, a reality where this went away in my life. And then there were past lives. All that's happening, and you're meant to just gather these pieces so you can become your better self in this current timeline, this current physical body, this current incarnation. You gather yourself, you become all seeing, and you become that extension of source. So I see how our senses are limited in general. So we describe source in this way of clear, cookie cutter, dry. Oh, if you don't do this, you need Jesus, you need this. No, that's not the case. You are meant to come here to learn and experience and evolve into these next densities of consciousness. That is it. There's no eternal suffering. This you notice the paintings of Archangel Michael fighting Lucifer. That is just conquering the lower self. Because in order to raise and achieve this Christ consciousness, you have to go through love. You have to love thyself. You have to love whom you are and master thyself in order to ascend into the next octaves. So knowing thyself is key. Mastering thyself, mastering that lower self is how you ascend. So man's sense of religion, it's all of us trying to describe the same picture, but when we pan out and see the bigger picture of how we're describing the same thing in different ways and different parables, it makes a lot more sense.
You know, honestly, how I view religion, I know you've probably seen The Last Airbender, right? Remember when he was flying over the swamp and the swamp was calling him and they got pulled down into it? And this huge swamp ended up just being one tree that just had a bunch of roots that spread out over miles. That's honestly how I view it. Honestly, I'm like, we're all looking at the same thing. It's all rooted at one spot. But the fact that you're on that side and I'm on this side, of course, it looks different, but it's really the same thing. But that's just how. But I know some people get offended by that, so I don't. Okay, don't yell at me. Okay, it's my perspective. You keep yours. Okay.
No, and we are all entitled to our own perspective, and that's what humanity needs, because humanity, we're in this state of like lust, and we're meant in this new age to raise the frequency of this planet and shift us into this new form of consciousness. Aliens exist, all this stuff. They're beings. They are here to help us raise our planetary frequency. And we got to do that through love for one another. But what's important is for each of us to all know ourselves, know our inner true strengths. Because if we know ourselves, we shed the ego, we shed who we think we are, we shed who we think we know, and we won't have these wars because people are arguing over, oh, my God looks like this, my God looks like that. Next thing you know, they're shooting at each other. So,
Like, dude, like, okay, all right. Why
so
does
you're,
everyone have to be right? I mean, like, okay. Anyway, my way or the highway.
and
I
no, you're good.
I thought of another. I'm just full of questions now. I'm sorry. Well, I believe this is the last one. I know shadow work is important, but I don't necessarily know like how to go about like that process.
Um, start right now. The first thing that came to my mind, and you could write this down, is ask yourself 10, 10 things you hate about yourself.
Okay.
The one thing being the least to number one being the most. So 10
Okay.
things you hate about yourself. And then when you come up with that, I also want you to ask yourself, uh, I want you to take yourself back to your childhood. And doesn't matter what age you are. If your younger self were to give you a message, what would it be? Reflect on those questions. And that's
Okay.
a start for shadow work, because then those questions lead to more exploring into thyself, where you're thinking about, oh, my inner child told me I am enough. Why would he tell me that? And then you go down that rabbit hole. You start, it's like an onion. You start peeling back these little layers, and next thing you know, you're crying like, oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So yeah, shadow work is just journaling with yourself. And I think starting with those 10 questions and the question to follow that, when you ask yourself those 10 questions, start asking why. Why do you feel this way? And then why do you feel that way about that? And then why? Just follow it up. Why? With a why. And you'll come up with your answer. Believe it or not. You'll start to really get the gears going.
This is gonna be great. This came at such a perfect time because I this is my first apartment by myself, and so one of the things that I really wanted to focus on is like me, because before it was I had to help my family with everything. At times I considered myself like Cinderella, like the Cinderella of my family at times.
No, you got this. So you actually got a lot of work to do. Now that I think of, from writing down your ideas, doing your shadow work, and just remember, when you do this shadow work, you will come out on top. It's an alchemical process. You got to take shit to become gold. You turn the worst parts of you and turn that into gold. And that's all shadow work is owning up to the parts of you that you are repressing and denying, and turning it into the light that you are.
Okay, thank you. This has been great. You've been great.
Hey,
I'm so glad I've met you.
I'm glad we came across each other's path. Um, Please let me know if anything's resonated with you, and be in touch.
Yes, and I got you on your book. I'll definitely let you know what my favorite chapter is.
All right. Well, you enjoy the rest of your day and get to work.
Yes, thank you, Marco.
No problem. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Want a peach? Peach, peach, peach.